Hello and welcome to Energy Solutions Explainer videos. Today's video carries on answering questions about air source heat pumps. So I'm Claudette Worley and I'm the MD. So one of the other questions that we often get asked regarding air source heat pumps is, can an air source heat pump provide 100% hot water? The answer to that is yes, absolutely. In fact, an air source heat pump are designed to provide your property with 100% of all your heating and hot water needs. Another question we often get asked is, can you run an air source heat pump with radiators? There seems to be a bit of a myth that air source heat pumps can only work with underfloor heating, and that absolutely is not true. So yes, absolutely, radiators do work very well with air source heat pumps as well. As part of the whole house heating calculations that your installer should do prior to any contract being signed is to work out exactly the size of the radiators for each room. So you may find that your existing radiator system is absolutely fine, but then you may also find that some of the radiators do need to be resized or additional radiators installed into certain rooms. But that's something that should be discussed fairly early on in the process of installing an air source heat pump. Lots of people don't completely appreciate what an air source heat pump looks like and the component parts regarding the system. And we also get asked quite a lot whether air source heat pumps are installed indoors, I suppose typically like an oil boiler can or even a gas boiler. The answer to this is the cylinder, the control unit and the other ancillary items are indeed installed inside your property. The cylinder typically can fit inside an existing airing cupboard where your existing cylinder may be, in the loft, providing the loft hatch is big enough, in the utility room or even in the garage. It very much depends on a house by house scenario. The air source heat pump itself is located outside of the property. There's quite a common misconception that air source heat pumps are also only suitable for new build houses, and that absolutely is not true. Air source heat pumps are suitable also for old houses, and it just depends again on a case-by-case scenario. Air source heat pumps are most suitable for properties from one-bed new build houses to 200-year-old stone farmhouses. We've worked on pretty much every kind of variable of that. The important thing when deciding on an air source heat pump is to ensure that you select a company with enough knowledge to carry out the due diligence on your property and its suitability. There are lots of air source heat pumps on the market, from low temperature 4 kilowatt air source heat pumps, which would be suitable for one bed new build houses, to 16 kilowatt high temp air source heat pump systems that would be more suitable for older, large properties, and then there's much more in between as well. So again, it very much depends on the house, and it very much depends on the due diligence that your installer carries out prior to install and prior to any contract being signed. Again, the biggest concern for some of our customers is, are they actually going to be warm in the winter, like with a traditional gas or oil boiler? And again, the answer is yes. Air source heat pumps are designed to work in temperatures up to -20 degrees. When people tell me that they are cold in the winter because they've got an air source heat pump that doesn't seem to be working properly, the biggest challenge we have is for them to understand that air source heat pumps should be kept on all the time at an ambient temperature, so that the temperature in your house isn't going from freezing to then try and heat up and then be switched off again and back on again. The other problem, of course, is that many installers are not sizing the air source heat pumps properly, and you may well find that a property that maybe needed an 11 or a 14 kilowatt system have actually got an 8.5. So in the colder months, that unit outside is trying to work far harder than it should, and it's not actually ever going to be able to cope with the heating demand that is placed upon it. These are the kind of situations that we find that some people are are in time and time again. So again, I can't stress the importance of making sure that you find a reputable, suitable, MCS accredited, manufacturer approved installer to carry out this work. Any air source heat pump manufacturer will be able to provide you with a list of companies that they recommend to do this for you. If in any doubt whatsoever, ask the company to go and actually view some of their installs that they have carried out and speak to the customers directly. That will give you a very good idea as to how good that installer is. This is something that we offer on a regular basis to customers, and sometimes people just want to hear that reassurance and don't actually contact our existing customers, and others do, and some have even gone over to the property to view the install itself and to stand outside to see how noisy it is and to work out exactly how it works as well and see if it is suitable for them. Air source heat pumps and underfloor heating, we've already touched on that ever so briefly. Now, air source heat pumps and underfloor heating work brilliantly. They go together like cheese and bread. They're particularly suitable if you're building an extension and you put in an underfloor heating into the extension, or in a new build. They also work very well with traditional radiators, and if you're having an extension, to put underfloor heating in the newer part of your house and keep the existing radiators, or maybe upsize the radiators in your existing house. Work in conjunction with each other, it's not a problem. If you are having air source heat pump though, then please do tell whoever is building the install the property that you are going to have an air source heat pump, because the underfloor heating system needs to be designed with that in mind. Something else we get asked quite a lot is whether air source heat pumps and solar PV systems work well together. The answer to that is yes. They do work in harmony together. If you already have a solar PV system and are thinking of having an air source heat pump, there are now products on the market that can divert the excess export electricity produced by your solar PV system directly into the running of your air source heat pump, saving you even more money on the running costs of your system. Any suitable installer should be able to advise you on this as well. One of the other important aspects to mention with regards to air source heat pumps, and yet again another question we get asked fairly regularly, is if you need planning permission to install an air source heat pump. So each council have their different views on this, unfortunately. But under the permitted planning rights, you shouldn't need planning permission, providing the outside unit is located a certain distance from any boundary fence, it isn't a listed building, or that you don't live in a conservation area. You must, however, contact your local planning department and confirm this prior to installation. Should you need more than one air source heat pump, or you already have an air source heat pump to heat, say, a swimming pool or an annex, then you most likely will need planning permission. So it's certainly worth contacting your local planning department and discussing this ahead of time. The VAT element of an air source heat pump is that of currently at 5% for the supply and installation of an air source heat pump. So coupled with the reduced rate of VAT plus the financial incentives of the RHI, it does make a very interesting proposition, and typically taken into all of those considerations with the savings over, because of the efficiency of air source heat pumps, you're looking at typically a system taking anything between 7 and 10 years to pay for itself, including the savings that you will make on the running costs as well. So again, I hope that you found this explained video a little bit interesting, and that you've gained a bit more information about air source heat pumps and the things to consider if you are indeed hoping to install one. Until next time, thank you.